Good morning and happy Friday. It is Big Agent Meeting on April 5th, 2024. The year is flying by, and man, we have a show for you guys today. We've got a lineup that you guys are not going to believe. We're going to kick it off with a new announcement of new Chief Human Resources Officer. Can't wait for you guys to meet Renee. And then we're going to kick into Vice President of Brokerage Ops, Holly Mabry and Lauren Coleman. We're going to have some conversation about open houses and sign calls and what NAR is going to allow and what changes with those types of things. And then we're going to jump over to Chief Learning Officer Brian Ellington, who's going to interview and have a conversation with Lonnie Fisher about boots on the ground stuff. Like, what are we really doing? What are agents really doing? Lonnie is amazing. You guys are going to love her when she comes in and does her thing and shows you guys what she's up to. And you guys can take away stuff that you can use in your business today. So before we get going on any of that, I've got a big announcement, some big news hot off the presses. Today, eXp announced that Glenn Sanford will be handing the reins of the CEO position off to eXp Realty to our very own Leo Pareja. Glenn will continue in his role as founder, chairman, and CEO of eXp World Holdings with the goal of driving all aspects of our overall parent company. I'm sure most of you already know Leo, but for those of you that don't, he has been serving as our Chief Strategy Officer. His remarkable track record and visionary leadership have been instrumental in strengthening eXp Realty's position in the marketplace. His contributions have been notably enhanced our agent value proposition through strategic initiatives like the launch of eXp Exclusives, love that program, Revenos, love that program, and the enhancement of eXp Solutions. As we continue our day-to-day operations, as usual under Leo's leadership, his forward-thinking approach and profound understanding of our industry's dynamics uniquely position him to steer eXp Realty into its next chapter of growth and success. For those of you that don't know, Leo joined eXp Realty in 2022, bringing with him an extensive and rich background in real estate. His leadership has already made a significant impact in our company, introducing innovative solutions and optimizing operations for growth. Please join me in congratulating Leo as he takes on his new role as CEO of eXp Realty and welcoming him here today. Let's kick it off with a quick segment with him.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Glenn Sanford here, founder and CEO of eXp Realty. And today I'm actually really excited. I'm actually going to give up the second part of that title to my good friend, someone that I've had the opportunity to work with now for going on, getting close to 2 years, I think now, but promoting Leo Pareja to the CEO role of eXp Realty. So Leo, I'm super excited, super stoked. This is gonna be a lot of fun. Any quick initial thoughts?
No, Glenn, I can't thank you enough for the opportunity, and more importantly for being a category creator. You have built the cloud-based model, which now has become the gold standard of the industry. You created a model that is sustainable and profitable for the ownership, and as well as the agents that choose to build the business with you. It's attracted the smartest, brightest people, entrepreneurs in this space, which is why I'm excited to be here. The fact that for the last 2 years, I've had the opportunity to work side by side with the most talented real estate entrepreneurs in the industry has completely energized me and has me excited for what's to come. And I can't be more excited to jump right in, because we are going through a moment of disruption in our industry that has a lot of people concerned and in fear. And the reality is we were built for this moment. Our company is, you founded it and scaled it during the great financial crisis. And everything you did was built for moments like this. And I just want to tell everybody that, we are prepared, ready to put our arms around you and guide you and empower you with whatever tools you need in order to continue to flourish as a real estate entrepreneur.
I know you and I were chatting just a few nights ago, and you were actually doing your CE credits for your license renewal. I mean, you were the number one producing, I think, agent or team at the Red Company. We'll just leave it at that. You went on to found and run a premier technology company in the MLS world, and also had done a number of other entrepreneurial activities. I had been a top producing agent, not at the level you were, but we both are we come from this very much growth, go for it, grow in it every day. And it's a different persona when you have somebody who's actually been in the seat of selling real estate at a high level, leading agents to continue to sell real estate at a high level. Any thoughts on that and how it would shape your approach to moving forward?
Yeah, I think there is it's very different when this is what you do. You know, I say I was born and raised into the industry because I got licensed at 19 years old. This industry is all I've ever known. This is not academic for me. This is, you know, I'm not Ivy League educated or, you know, have operated from a venture backed ivory tower. I came up selling houses. I've been at the kitchen table. I've sat in the car. I've accidentally had to pay for the washer and dryer because I didn't check the right boxes. Like, I've lived this my entire life. My entire career has been dedicated to this industry, whether it's helping the consumer or advocating for the agent, and now getting the pleasure to lead them and really serve them. Right? We just hosted a top team mastermind. That was my takeaway. We're here to continue to deliver what I refer to as a entrepreneurial platform to allow these real estate professionals to build whatever size dream they want, whether that is being a solo practitioner and selling a couple homes a year, to building uh, the largest mega team on earth with, you know, multiple locations throughout the country, or building a very large community where you get to pour into humans because that's your God-given talent. And I just can't be more excited for this moment. We are built for these moments, and I'm excited to continue to partner and deliver the best-in-class services to our partners.
Well, awesome. Well, obviously, you know, we together with so many other people grown EXP to being, you know, number one on real trends for on a number of different categories, not the least of which is we help more people get into homes and sell homes than any other real estate brokerage. And I think you did the math by a pretty large percentage, I think, in terms of just where we are in that whole scheme. And of course, international growth is a big part of this. You know, I'm still CEO of EXP World Holdings. I'm still here. I'm still going to be at events and all of the other things. But the day-to-day, significant leadership elements of the company, it's going to be in great hands with you and the rest of the leadership team. So super excited and super stoked. And thanks for joining on this journey a couple of years ago. And I can't wait to see what you do and we do together. So thanks everyone for watching, and thanks again, Leo.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
All right, there you go. EXP taking their business to the next level. The small shifts sometimes make the biggest difference, getting people in the right seat to do the right leadership. And I love this move. I really, really love Leo's spirit. I love the humanness to him. He's just a real guy. So next up, another really great shift for us at EXP. We're not just leading, we're reshaping the industry to strategically prepare for future growth and expansion. We're restructuring our senior leadership team, as you're seeing. Mike Vane, our EVP of People, is passing the torch now to our new Executive Vice President and Chief Human Resource Officer, Renee Kaspar. Mike's remarkable tenure has paved the way for our growth and success, and we're grateful for his contributions. He will also be staying on with us as an EXP Realty agent too. So Renee brings with her a wealth of experience from global giants like Thomson Reuters, eBay, and Amazon, ready to lead us into a new chapter of innovation and growth. Her track record speaks volumes, and we're thrilled to welcome her aboard. Renee Kaspar, come on out and say hi for us.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Hi, everybody.
I love it. So what a background you have in HR.
Well, not only in HR, I also was a salesperson at one point in my career. And so I know sales, and I was brought up by a real estate mom. And yeah, exactly. So I have some sales background, and I did some communications work as well. So
nice. That's fantastic.
Yes.
So let me ask you a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Can you recite my home address off the top of your head? Because if you worked at Amazon, I know everybody knows where I live.
I have no idea. No, but thank you.
Between that and eBay, you've got to know where I live.
No
But
idea.
it's lovely when we're on first name basis for everybody delivering stuff, right? But
True.
so when you look at that background, like what is shifting in HR right now that you're seeing? Like what is the difference? What is the cutting edge stuff in HR right now? Because the world's changing.
It is changing dramatically. I think some of the shifting areas are we're looking at generative AI and the impact and the to the workforce, to the HR world itself, to data. I think those are really big shifts. I also see that the workforce is changing dramatically because we're looking at the different generations, and we
Sure.
see the baby boomers actually moving more towards that retirement. We kept thinking
Yeah.
they were going to retire, but they
Yeah.
kept coming back, and
Yep.
but they are really exiting, and that's a big shift. So then you also see a much younger workforce. I believe the millennials and the Zs actually make up almost 50% of the workforce. And
Wow.
with that shift in dynamic, there's a difference in what people are looking for and what they want in their workplace. And
Yeah.
so employers need to listen more astutely than they ever had to. It's not the workplace of our mom and dad, and it's not even the workplace that I may have grown up in. And so I think those are the big shifts that we're seeing. And we're dealing with multi-generational workforce in addition. So like, because we see the world differently, we have to figure out how we bring it all together.
Yeah, I think for me, watching business over the last, particularly 20 years in the real estate side, it seems like there's been a substantial shift from everybody worked for a boss to now people are wanting to work for leaders. And there's a difference in the way you apply that versus, here, do what I'm telling you to do, or hey, here's where we're going, follow me. Big shift.
Unequivocally. And that's something that I've been working on for the past. So I've been in startups now for the past 5 years. And that is something that we've been working on in the startups, is that leader coach. It's
Yeah.
really that coaching mentality. And how do we help people really find their best self and their best way of performing? And so that's a really important thing, is unlocking that potential in everybody. And interestingly, when I entered this field about 25 plus years ago, that was the reason I came into the field, was to help people unlock their potential.
Yeah.
But HR wasn't as evolved as it is becoming today.
Agreed. Understood. It is kind of interesting. Like for me, I've always been more of a people person, right? So the shift in the industry really is, particularly our industry too, is going from being business people to people business. And it
100%.
really is people first, and then a business comes after that. So I love that we have you in a leadership position for that. I love your experience and background. I love the spirit of you when we were going through before this. You just jumped right in like you're one of the gang. So I'm super excited to have you on board. Give me 20 seconds, last words. Something. What do you got?
What do I have? Well, I mean, I'm excited to be here. I think and it was after listening to Leo, I actually took something that this is a defining moment for me as well.
Yeah.
To come to a company that's as innovative, progressive, thoughtful. Interviewing was a wonderful process, because I got to meet leaders that actually took the humanity into consideration. And so for me, this is a real defining moment, and I'm super excited to be here. And as a realtor's daughter, I'll end with that. It kind of comes full circle. I grew up in this world for my mom did it for 40 years. And so it's exciting to kind of be able to serve in the community that gave me the ability to be where I am today, because my mom she's my hero.
Absolutely fantastic. I love it that we've got plenty of people that are in our business that actually understand what's going on in the business. Leadership that's actually been there and seen it. You saw it from the outside. Now you're on the inside. Bet your mom would be proud to see what you're doing now.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Ross. Thank you, everybody. I'm super excited to be here.
Thanks a bunch. Welcome. All right, there you go. Taking leadership to the next level. I just absolutely love the spirit of her right out of the gate. Just a great fit for our company. I'm excited to see what she does in helping make everything better for all the people that work here and all the people that are associated with EXP. So with that, we're going to jump right in here, kick it off. Awesome stuff. We're going to jump right into Holly Mabry and Lauren Coleman. They're going to be talking today about what are we doing with sign calls? What are we doing with open houses? There's some shifts going on with NAR, and these two ladies are leading the charge on making sure we know what you guys need to be doing so we stay in compliance and stay legal. So Lauren, Holly, come on down.
Hey, what's up, Russ?
Hello. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Hey, it's always fun when you're doing a show and you get this computer management thing pops up right in front of everything.
Well, as long as it doesn't restart in 2 minutes, we're pretty good. So
right.
see what happens there.
It's not
Well,
saying.
yeah, good morning, EXP. We are super excited to be here with you. What an amazing day.
I
We got
know.
Leo. We got Renee. Like, Lauren and I were texting super early this morning, and I'm like, this is I'm so grateful to Glenn. I'm so grateful for his vision and not being afraid to go chase something when people told him he was crazy. But even then, next level, looking at the chapter of leadership that we have in this company and where we're going next.
Yeah, I got to say, it is really nice not waking up on a Friday morning to some crazy industry blurb news or, you know what I mean? We know how it's been going the past few weeks. So this was a wonderful, pleasant surprise. So
Yeah, it's like you open up email and chat and anything you're looking at social, and you're like, I'm not even looking till I have coffee first.
right. Well, wonderful way to enter into the weekend, right?
For sure. For
All right.
sure. Well, so let's talk about the industry. Let's talk about your business and how we build it next. Because one of the common questions Lauren and I have been getting a whole lot as we're going out and we're meeting agents, we're doing Zooms and office meetings and things like that is, okay, we know changes are coming mid-July. What does that mean when I take a listing and I'm doing an open house? Do I have to have a buyer broker signed before somebody enters the house that I have open for my seller? You know, is it one of those like Gandalf in the Lord of the Rings, you shall not pass until you sign this? No. It's not going to happen like that. And so what we're seeing is because you represent the seller, you already have permission to be in there. Your agency is to the seller. And so as a result, the seller already knows what they're paying you. Any buyer that comes through that property, a great standard of practice, and we're actually going to be putting this in the marketing center coming soon for you, is basically a sign that you can post that says, welcome. EXP represents the seller. If you would like representation, please let us know. It's something so simple and conversational that we can do that as people are coming in, you can have that conversation. And it becomes one of those that how you win for future clients. Now, this is what I'll say. Just because somebody walks in the door doesn't mean you automatically give them agency, doesn't mean you automatically go to work for you. The best thing you can ever do is, one, ask your seller, do you want me to represent any potential buyer? Because they make that determination. Two, is that a buyer that you are willing to put in your car every weekend, go and answer every phone call, maybe above, members of the family, so you can advocate for them? Is that someone you want to work with? And if the answer is no, it's okay to say no.
Yep. And it's important to also have those. So in different, every state's different. We know this, right? So when it comes to those agency disclosures that have to be presented at the best possible time, right? So whether you have a pamphlet provided by your state or some kind of disclosure, you want to make sure you have those in your open house as well. So that way, when you do have that conversation with the buyer, you can let them know, like, hey, I do represent the seller. I can also help you with paperwork and you remain an unrepresented buyer, and I can write up offers for you. If it's a dual agency state, then I can represent both. But of course, you have to get that write off or that authorization from both parties. Or you can go transaction broker and just be a neutral party for both. But typically, when you're a listing agent, you don't want to give up that representation to your seller. But there's different options there. You want to make sure that you have those disclosures available to those buyers that come into that property.
What's so exciting about where we're at right now, and Lauren and I have been talking a lot about this with your COE directors across the nation, your designated brokers and managing brokers, and also Leo and Michael and Patrick. We're so excited to lead forward in really taking care of the consumer first, because a lot of folks out there are like, oh, I'm worried about my commission. Y'all, if we take care of the client, we will get paid. That I have no doubt. But if you lead with service, if you lead with integrity, if you lead with how you take care of somebody, that money will come. And we are in the process right now of providing new forms. And so this next week in SkySlope Forms, we will have what we affectionately call our single property buyer broker compensation agreement. And what we love about this form is it's a single page. It's written so any consumer can look at that and go, yeah, I'm okay. And so you can send it out via email. You can send it out in advance. It's not all legalese up. We wanted to set the pace for the industry and really focused on how we take care of the client and how we establish who we are, how we work for the client, and get you into that conversation so you can showcase everything that you do on their behalf. So that's going to be coming in SkySlope Forms probably mid to end next week. I'm really excited about it, Lauren. So
Yeah.
excited.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Especially knowing that it is compliant with the NAR proposed settlement, right? Because there's some, even on the NAR's website, the facts.realtor site. So it's always good to go to that too to read the information for yourself. But in that one-page document that we'll be providing, it also puts a little notification in there about just reminding that whatever amount that you agree to with that buyer on that agreement, if the seller's providing a commission on a property that you guys want to put in an offer, and it's that commission is higher than what you've agreed to on that form, you have to still stick with the amount that's on that form. That's something that, even in looking in the facts.realtor website from NAR, they're not necessarily highlighting it, but it is in that 108-page proposed settlement agreement. So just want to make sure that you know that we have that information in that one-page doc to remind our agents as well. So we
Well,
definitely have your backs.
yeah, absolutely. And the other thing, and we got great feedback from a couple of buyers agents that we've pre-screened this form with.
Mhm.
And one was some of our buyers are nervous about signing a buyer broker because they don't know that they can ask for concessions from the seller to cover that buyer broker fee. Well, we actually wrote it into our form. We actually have it in the pre-printed language that, hey, buyer, if you choose, you can ask the seller to cover this via concession. And so we want to be forward thinking to address the concerns of the client up front. Now, we've talked about open houses. Let's talk about sign calls. If you are a listing agent, as the new rule comes in effect, again, the same thing with an open house. If you're representing the seller, no problem with going out and showing that buyer on behalf of the seller. If you think you want to represent that buyer, you do need to have that buyer broker compensation signed before you unlock the door.
Yes.
Now, let's play this scenario, Lauren. This is kind of fun. I kind of dig this one, right? So I get a sign call. I go out and I'm not quite sure if I'm going to represent Russ. I'm representing the seller, right? I'm in a dual agency state, but I'm going to show Russ. So I show Russ the house. Doesn't quite fit his needs, but I kind of dig Russ.
Right.
It's kind of fun to work with. What do I do?
Oh, let's keep this going. Well, I'll say there's different types of forms, right? There's the one-time showing, there's the non-exclusive to where we're dating, and then there's that one we talked about, the exclusive buyer agency, which is typically what people utilize, and that's our marriage. We always want to go there first. It's just like, hey, we're vibing, we like working with each other. Let's go on and sign this agreement. These are the services that I provide. This is what I charge. I'll be able to show you any house that you're interested in. I have your best interest at stake because I owe you fiduciary duty by signing this agreement. Let's move forward on these other properties. Now if they have any apprehension on being married, then you can sell them on the date, and if it's just like, well, what about the one time, even if they say, like, I've heard about the one time showing, sure, but every time we want to look at a property, we're gonna have to fill another one of these out, then time is money, right? Like, let's just do this. So yeah.
I think what I love about this is being proactive for the buyer. So you can, as the listing agent, go open that house, see if you like the person, and if they want to look at other houses, not that house, then you can enter into that buyer broker compensation agreement and take your relationship to the next level. Yeah. But if they come back and they're like, hey, I want to buy that original house you're listing, there is no compensation. You're working for the seller solely. So as we go forward, let's set you all for success. We've got amazing programming coming through eXp University. We've got some really cool training that we're going to be doing with your state broker teams, state meetings. And then, of course, we've got regional rallies, Lauren. You're headed out this next week, right?
Yes, I'll be in Atlanta with Russ. I think next Tuesday. Yep. And then I'll be in Louisiana on Thursday. KC next Monday. So that's actually my son's 16th birthday, his sweet 16. So that'll be fun.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Right on. And so, Russ, you're going to be at all these regional rallies. You've been an agent. You've been in it to win it. You have the ability to help people across this threshold. Yep. So I know I'm going to be in Denver. I'll be in Phoenix. I'll be in Greater Orange County. I'm so excited to see all of you. And we are going to be bringing more tools, tips, and tricks as this continues to roll out. And this is what I want you to know. And we'll take the last couple of minutes and get to a really special guest. We are here for you. We have no doubt of where we're headed and the vision that this company has. And we want you to know that at every turn, we are proactively looking at how to set the market and take care of consumers by supporting you first. So as we go forward, we're in it to win it with you. We're so excited to build your business. And as we go through the summer, don't worry, we're here. We've got your back and we were built for this. Good things.
There we go.
Very good. Thank you, ladies. Appreciate it. I'll see you again real soon with more updates coming in future weeks. So thanks again for that. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, there you go. Really simple. You guys got this. We got you. I think that's the message you're going to get out of that. So let's jump right into Brian Ellington. Bring him in. Brian Ellington is going to be having a conversation with Lonnie Fisher. So come on down, Brian. How you doing, brother? Lonnie,
I'm
come on
doing great, my friend.
All right, I'm going to let you two guys take it away. I'm going to get out of your way. Let you two have a conversation about how does this work on the ground. Go.
Thank you so much, Russ. Hey, Lonnie, how you doing? Are you able to hear me okay, Lonnie?
Sorry about that. My mic was muted. So yeah,
No
I'm doing good.
worries.
How are you?
I'm doing great. I am pleased to introduce you to Lonnie Fisher. In addition to being an EXP agent with us in Tacoma, Washington, she's also the CEO and owner of Lonnie Fisher Homes. So Lonnie, you heard Lauren talking about the preferred sequence of your fallback trenches, right? So we want you to go get the exclusive buyer services agreement. However, should that not be possible, given the scenarios that you have with a particular buyer, we want you to get the buyer. Right. So we're providing all of those tools and resources that you have, those fallback trenches. But getting that buyer representation agreement, the exclusive one, really is about showing your value and being able to connect with that buyer. And so as part of our ongoing commitment to bringing you great agents because others have lived before you, Lonnie's joined us because, Lonnie, you've lived before us for about 10 and a half years with the buyer service agreement. I think you're on mute again.
My gosh. But yes. All right. So sorry. Yeah. I don't know why it keeps muting. But yeah, I've been doing buyer agency agreements for 10 and a half years. And it actually came into fruition because when I first got into the industry as an agent, right? It was like the wild, wild west out there. Still is today, right? And as a buyer's agent, I was just showing properties. I remember the reason why it came into my practice is because I was showing this client. I probably showed her like 20 something homes. She was very undecisive. She had, a couple of people that she knew that were real estate agents. And every time she wanted to see a property, she called me. So I was like, oh, we're good. Like, I got you, right? You got me. I got you. It was a handshake. I was very much on like the handshake thing. You shake my hand, word is bond. And come to find out, like I had sent her this property and she had another. I actually even showed it. Let's get to this part.
Oh.
I even showed it to her, and she had her friend write up the offer. And let me tell you, back then I was broke, right? I couldn't even rub two pennies together, and I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" And so that really became the foundation of why I started implementing the buyer agency agreement, is because one, I wanted to protect myself and my business, the money that I take home to my family to feed and put food on the table, to pay the bills. And then also I wanted to make sure that simultaneously that my buyer was just as loyal to me as I was to them.
Yeah. And that's, I think anybody who's been in this business for any length of time has a story that's similar to that. So that's really the kind of gift within all of this. Now, in Washington State, you were sharing with me when we were talking about the fact that, since 2020, 2021 timeframe, you started to see lower amounts offered for buyer agents in your MLS. And what's interesting is you've seen what a lot of agents are afraid of. Right, that instance where what's in your buyer service agreement isn't what's getting covered by the seller. You want to share a little bit about that and what you do in that situation?
Yeah. Actually, so yeah, we're as you're paying attention, and if any agent out there is really paying attention, they're seeing different commissions being offered across the board, whether it's 0% because it's a new build, or 2%, 2.5%, 3%. There's times that you might see a buyer bonus for 4%. In my consultations with my clients, we agree to X amount, right? And I will say that in my last several offers for my buyers, my amount that we agreed to with my clients has not been equal to the amount that is being showed or displayed on the MLS. Now, yes, as of July 1st, that will go away. I'm still not concerned about that. In that moment, though, you have to say, what is it that I'm going to do? Am I going to take less, or am I going to negotiate higher? And I will say this, I have done this multiple times where I've negotiated my commission to what I feel my value is, to what is agreed upon with my clients. And when given the situation or that circumstance comes up, my clients have compensated for me, or we've been able to increase the price, right? So that the seller is like, you know what? I'm okay with that, because that price increase amounts to that difference that you're actually asking for in our negotiation for this offer to be accepted. And so, yes, I'm good with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the things I loved you shared about your scripting about I serve you in 90 different ways.
Yeah.
So let's jump into that, and let's talk about your buyer consultation. First, take us high level. Give us a sense. What's the timing breakdown of your buyer consultation? How long are you spending with them, and what is that time spent on?
Yeah. So my buyer consultation, I do always, because it really does set the expectation of what your and I relationship's going to look like when we work together. It's a two-way interview, right? I'm interviewing you as much as you're interviewing me. And I want to make sure that we're a good fit, because if we're not, I don't want to work with you. And I will refer you to somebody else that's going to be a better fit. And that's okay. Not everybody's meant to work with us. And I need you as an agent to understand that you're not going to fit everybody that comes your way, right? That's really how we start off my consultation. That consultation literally lasts about maybe 45 minutes to an hour, maybe a little bit longer, depending on how many questions they may have, right? Or if the husband, wife, or the partners are together and they are complete opposites of what they're looking for. Because
Never had that before.
yeah, right. And so how we start is we go through the home buying process. We really break it down to what does this look like? Because some people haven't bought a house ever, right? This is their first time. Some people haven't bought a house for 10 or 15 years, and a lot of things have changed, right? So we're going through what has changed, right? The NAR settlement, the buyer agency agreements. What does that mean to them? Really being transparent on what does this look like for their journey. And as we're going through this, I'm asking them multiple times, do you have any questions about this? What's your understanding of this? Give me feedback on what you just heard me explain, so that way I understand that you understand that I told you what we were doing, right? Once we get through that, then we're going into their criteria, which I say is the fun part, right? Because by that time, depending on where I met them, they might have been looking online at homes already. I might have called them to get them on this consultation because they were an internet lead. And now I'm like, well, you were already looking at homes. So come on, let's talk about what's going on. We go over their wants and needs. I really dial in on where do they spend most of their time when they're at home, right? So like when me and you were doing it, you said it was the garden and the living room.
Right. Great memory.
And how many times did I ask you why?
At least 3. Yeah, at least 3. Digging in deep to find out what's really important about that.
Yeah, right. And that's super key, because the more questions that you ask, or the better understanding of your client, the less time and the less amount of homes that you're going to have to show, right? And so when we get through that component, then we basically make their wish list. I'm figuring out where are they at home to relieve stress from their day, or where are they bonding with their family or their loved ones? What are they doing? And you're going to be able to get all of that information by asking why and digging deeper, right, to understand them on that level. So when I'm doing my consultation, it's not about just the now. It's really about how can I help this particular client or consumer stay in their home and grow in it, right, for multiple years, to be able to have and build wealth through real estate, right? Being able to build that equity. And so after we do that, we go through our top 7 must-haves, and that's kind of where that time difference can make or break, right? if we have two people on different spectrums, I want to figure it out now, not on the road or in the driveway or in the living room of a showing. We'll get through that, and then I'll say, hey, what is it that you're looking for in a real estate agent? Somebody like myself, what is it that you need? Normally by this time, we've gone so deep that they're like, well, we want somebody like you. I'm like, what do you mean? Tell me some more about that, right? We want somebody that listens. We want somebody who's going to be able to advise and guide us. We want somebody that's going to be knowledgeable. And we want somebody who's not going to take advantage of us. We want somebody who's going to listen. We want somebody who's going to advocate for us, right? And then I'm like, well, I'm sure you want communication, right? And they're like, yeah. Well, how do you communicate, right? And so I take that down. And then you're like, well, I'm sure you want somebody who's honest, right? You need to be able to trust your agent. Yeah, 1000%. Fantastic.
Yeah,
Honesty.
absolutely.
If I tell you something that feels like a punch in the gut, please know I'm just being honest with you. My job is not to be your friend right now, even though that is a reward at the end if we do become friends. But right now, my job is to protect you. Does that sound fair? Right?
Yeah.
And so after we give that, they're like, hey, Brian, you look pretty, you're a pretty cool guy. I think you and I mesh really well. I think I would want to work with you. What do you think? Right?
So let me pause you right there, because there's a higher level conversation going on here that I just want to make sure everybody's aware of, right? Just from the very beginning, your takeaway close, that this is a two-way interview script that you use, immediately setting the tone of who's leading the conversation, right? Because we get into these situations oftentimes with buyers and we feel like we are service representatives, which in a way we are. But if we fail to take the leadership in the relationship, boy, we're going to be going all over town looking at a lot of different properties. The other thing that you've done is you've already demonstrated to them that you're listening. And how many times in life do people truly listen to us as individuals? So when somebody takes that time, I know, a lot of people just want to get right to it. A lot of agents want to get right to it, showing the homes and all of that. But slowing it down, really listening, number one, that builds trust and rapport. And number two, it will save you from having to go from house to house to house to house to house. And I love the fact that you're talking about the 7 different things. You also mentioned when we were talking the prescription for the Tic Tacs. You want to share that with everybody?
Oh, yeah. So as far as the two-way interview, you're gonna enter into an agreement with a lawyer or a doctor or whatever, and it's all about setting that professionalism, right? So I wanted to set that first and make sure that we are setting a very high standard for our industry. 2, as far as the Tic Tacs, right? I tell my clients, when we're working together, there's going to be a high level of anxiety. It's like a roller coaster ride, right? And when you start really getting into it and you're like, man, I'm going to make an offer, and your stomach drops and you start sweating and you're like, am I making the right decision? And you're going to have so many irrational decisions come through your mind, right? That I need you to bring you back down to here. And so there's a part of my consultation where I say, why is it that you're looking to buy a home at this time? And I'm going to have them list out all the reasons, whether that's stability, whether that's they're tired of throwing money away on rents, or they want a strong foundation, they want to leave something for their kids. I tell them, like, when this starts happening, when you start getting anxiety, you start stressing out, you're like, am I making the right decision? I want you to go to the store. This is my prescription to you. I'm going to go to the store. You're going to go get some Tic Tacs. And when this starts happening, I want you to take 1 or 2 or however many you may need at that moment. And then I want you to ask yourself, or to give me a call and say, hey, Lonnie, I'm stressing out, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to say, Brian, why are you looking to buy this house in the first place? And then you're going to tell me all the reasons why. And you're going to go from here back down to here, right? Mm-hmm. And that Tic Tac is just kind of like a trigger, right? Like whether you have a migraine or you have some anxiety, it's just a physical thing to remind yourself, like, no, I'm doing this for X, Y, Z.
And whether they take the Tic Tac or not, the fact that we know why they're buying the home because we've taken the time to do this needs analysis with them, we can remind them that,
Yeah.
oh, well, your grandkids are waiting for you, or that new job is waiting for you, and let's just get through this. Right?
Yes.
I love that. Another thing you shared was the how many houses you show. You want to share that script?
Yeah, so once we go through the top 7 must-haves, right? Normally it's price, location, 3, bedroom size, how many they need, minimum bathroom size, and then it has spots 5, 6, and 7, which is normally where they're at home to de-stress. And so once we go through that, I tell them, like, on average, about 99, 98% of the time, I have to show 3 houses or less. And the reason why is because I spend this amount of time right here diving deep with you, fully understanding what it is that you want, what it is that you need, how you and your family interact, what you'd like to do on your downtime, and like what you want to do in the future. Does that sound fair?
Yeah. And I love that. And so what you've done is, number one, you've told them that I'm listening. Number two, you've given them proof of success with your other clients. And number three, you've anchored them about how many homes we should be seeing together before we're ready to make an offer. And that helps you with that taxi cab effect that we want to mitigate against. Lonnie, this is amazing. Any last piece of advice that you have for agents when it comes to doing this buyer consultation?
Yeah, when you asked me this, I have something written out. So let me read it. This moment is a time is not just a challenge. It's an invitation to excel, to demonstrate your true value of a skilled real estate agent. Your hard work, adaptability, and unwavering commitment to your clients set the foundation for not just surviving these changes, but thriving. Let's lead the way through optimism and innovation, shaping the future of real estate.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Lonnie Fisher, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And thank you all for listening in. Hey, next week, join us as we have Jason Kay, who's going to go through value proposition in depth, how you present your value, what kind of value you present. So make sure you tune in for next week's Big Agent Meeting. Until then, from Lonnie and I, we're handing it back over to Russ. Thanks so much for playing with us today. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much. Awesome stuff. Love it, guys. Beautiful job. Appreciate your time. Thank you for your knowledge. Lonnie, nothing says boots on the ground. I get what you're doing because I'm doing it myself. And I love the way you take this, and I love the way you tacked on it. And I love the way you make it about them, which is important. If you make it about me, they're not going to think that's great, but you make it about them and getting them what they want. Very powerful. Love that verbiage. So for those of you that are actually in EXP world right now, we have actually EXP Solution of the Month. You guys will see a slide that is next to the screen in the frame system for us. Bullet point number 1 is eCommissions is completely integrated with SkySlope. So if you guys don't know what eCommissions is, that is where you can do commission advancements. It's built right into SkySlope. Number 2 is agents can request the amount that they need from eCommissions in the amount from $500 to $20,000 for a commission advancement. And my favorite part, the third part here, is funds can be wired into your bank account within an hour. Within an hour of the time you request it, you can have funds in your account. So guys, EXP is committed to having solutions and making it seamless and easy for you to get what you need. So with that said, I want to say, hey guys, NPS survey time. It's the end of the show. And for right now, if you guys could click on the QR code right now, give us a fair assessment on a scale of 1 to 10. How are we doing? Let us know if we're doing a great job. Give us a 10 and let us know if there's any feedback, things we can add and or subtract. We're always reading these every Monday. We go through these in detail to make sure we're getting the feedback from you guys and we know what you're thinking and we can make it better for you. So with that said, we've got one last thing coming up. We've got a video recognition for icons that hit icon last month, and then stay tuned for iConversations coming up next. See you next week.